Hey guys, Rob here. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the 3 mindset shifts I've had through my journey as an entrepreneur, from starting with nothing to, where I am right now, where, I run a pretty successful LinkedIn business. And basically, I'm going to teach you about the things I wish I knew when I was starting out, and how these shifts have really changed my perception and really helped me overcome bad times in my business and get through all the tough periods, and actually build up momentum so I can start going faster, going further, and being more successful at what I do. And these are some things that I really wish somebody would have taught me at the start. Truly I wish, because it would have took a lot of time off my learning curve, and it would have saved me a whole bunch of time, a whole bunch of heartache, a whole bunch of failure. So I really hope this video helps you today. If you watch it all the way through to the end, you're going to know those 3 mindset shifts. So let's just start with number 1 now. The ability to not feel stupid. So if you're a coach, a consultant, or a service provider, you've probably at some point have to put yourself out there. If you don't put yourself out there, something's going wrong. You're going to have to put yourself out there, right? And when people often put themselves out there, they get this feeling of feeling stupid and getting this fear of judgment, that everyone's kind of judging them, and they have this crushing feeling on them that they know they need to take action, but they just can't do it because they feel a bit silly doing the actions they have to do, whether it's sending messages to people, whether it's even making a content post, putting themselves on video, or even just changing their profile and letting their network know that they actually are doing something different now. Maybe they've moved into entrepreneurship, and it's just that feeling of being judged which stop people. And I always tell my clients when they're going through this that there is something very, very important. There's a parallel. And I say that, like, when you go to the gym for the first time, often one of the biggest fears is, am I fit enough to go to the gym? Am I going to be running on the treadmill and look stupid because I'm so tired? Am I, going to be lifting, dumbbells and doing bicep curls, and I won't be strong enough and people will be judging me for it? And these are like pretty general fears that people get before they go to the gym. And what they end up doing is they try to get fitter before they end up going to the gym, in the hope that it kind of resolves this fear so they feel a bit better about themselves. And what actually happens when you go to the gym, and this is a parallel with business as well, everyone in the gym is so concerned with their own appearance, with their own insecurities, their own inner dialogue that's going on, that they don't even notice you, right? And it's the same thing in the business world. So remember to step outside of your comfort zone and not feel stupid. Like, you can feel stupid, but don't let it get to you. It's a perfectly normal feeling. And I remember the first time I ever sent like a cold DM to someone, asking them if they wanted to do business, and I must have spent hours on this single DM. I reworded it, I revised it, I read it through 20 times, and then eventually, I might have even went to bed and slept on it, right? And then woke up the next morning and reviewed it again, and eventually, I sent it, right? And then the person didn't even reply to me anyway, and I was just like, okay, like, no one really cares, right? You're gonna have to do a few of these before you even get some traction. And it's kind of this, it's the same thing in all of your business. So it's important that you get the mindset in you of, you aren't worried about feeling stupid. You aren't worried about feeling judged. Or at least if you are, you don't let it control you. And over time, the more action you take, the more comfortable you will become, and the more this belief will kind of like let go of itself. Mindset hack number two, not afraid of being wrong. So this was something that was actually very hard for me. I came from I was always quite like a proud kid. It's probably because I grew up to like a single mum, and I had to kind of be like the man of the house, but I always grew up to be like quite proud. I would always take care of business, and that actually went against me when I started doing my business, because basically I just thought I was always right? And I knew perhaps that things were going wrong, but I couldn't quite admit them to myself. I couldn't quite reach out and get help. And because of this, it actually cost me a whole bunch of time and a whole bunch of painful experiences. So I want to read you a quote right now, and the quote is about a guy named Sam Walton. And if you don't know who Sam Walton is the founder of Walmart. And he started Walmart. Whatever you think of the guy, whatever you think of, the company, I want you to take away the message from this. But he started Walmart. He founded it in like the 1950s. He founded it with no money. He had tons of giant competitors, right? He had like Kmart, all sorts of different competitors that basically had far more resources than him, far more anything than him, and far more experience than him. And he set out in the 1950s and, he tried to grow his business. And he did, and eventually he reached like billionaire status and multi-billionaire status, and in like today's money, he was like probably the richest guy that's ever existed, right? And there's a quote in the book about what it was like to work with Sam Walton from I think it was like one of his executives or, one of his business partners or something like that. And this quote speaks absolute volumes. So I want you to listen to this because it goes directly into not being afraid of being wrong, right? Two things about Sam Walton distinguish him from almost everybody else I know. First, he gets up every day bound and determined to improve something. Now listen to the second one. Second, he is less afraid of being wrong than anyone I've ever known. And once he sees he's wrong, he just shakes it off and heads in another direction. Now, if you need to rewind that bit of the video and listen to that again, but basically he just isn't afraid of being wrong. And if he is proven to be wrong, he's just like, right, fair enough, I'm just gonna change my approach and do it your way, right? And this is a mentality that you really need in business if you're trying, is to not be afraid of being wrong. More times than not, you are going to be wrong. In fact, like 90% of the time, you're going to be wrong. You're going to come into business pretty inexperienced and you're going to have all these misconceptions. And then like as time goes on, like I'm more experienced than I was like 2 years ago now. But the more experience I've got, the more I realize like, wow, there's so much more I actually don't know. So it's all about, not being afraid of being wrong. There's probably 10 wrong things I've done today in my business, which I'm going to look back on in 2 years and be like, I shouldn't have done that like that. But we've got to, test things fast, discover we're wrong, just so we can move in the right direction. So that's the second mentality I have there. And the third mentality is to be thick-skinned, right? Look, business is tough, right? Even when you know what you're doing, business is really tough. You're going to get rejected more than ever. You are going to, things aren't going to go right. You're going to have an up and down of where things go right and then things go wrong, and then suddenly, nothing will go right and you've got to try and figure it out, right? And oftentimes you've got no direction apart from yourself. Business is tough, but only the people who are thick-skinned and resilient make it through, right? If you're one of these people that, you get crushed, you get absolutely crushed by like something minor going wrong, then it's one of those things that you need to learn to get over. But luckily, this is a skill. I remember I used to get like rejected on like sales calls, or rejected on like maybe like a discovery call, or maybe like somebody would say something mean to me when I was putting myself out there, and it would crush me for like the entire day, right? Possibly the next day as well. Something won't go right and it just crushed me. And over time, like scar tissue forms, your skin gets thicker, right? And you end up being way more thick-skinned. And because of this, you learn to adjust and adapt in directions and then things which go wrong in your business, you learn to just bounce back and you're like, all right, let's go. And a great example of this is if you ever watch Undercover Billionaire Season 2 with Grant Cardone, the dude gets rejected a crap ton, right? He gets rejected an awful lot. And basically every time he gets rejected, he gets like down for a little while, and then he gets straight back on his horse, and then he gets rejected again, he gets down for a little while, maybe like 5-10 minutes, and then he gets straight back on his horse, and he keeps doing that again and again and again. And basically I don't believe he was like that at the start, but over his career, he has learned to be like that, constantly face rejection. So there are the 3 points right now. Now, I just want to mention something else as well. If you're actually struggling with LinkedIn as well at the moment, I'm actually in the process, in the trenches at the moment of making such a high quality course which is designed to help you go from no leads to plenty of leads on LinkedIn, and to actually teach my strategies, to teach like the things which I've been doing the past few years, all for a really affordable price. Because I know like the last 18 months, it hasn't been great for everybody. And one of the things I've heard in the market is that a lot of people are saying like, well, I just haven't got any money at the moment. Like, I haven't got any money. Times are hard, times are hard. So, I thought, kind of a bit of a goodwill gesture. I'm going to create something great, which I can give back to the market at a really affordable price. And I hope to see you guys in it, because I know there's a lot of you guys who shoot me messages all the time, like, Rob, can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? So this is like kind of a bit of a give back to everyone, and I hope you really enjoy it. So just to run through these things again, just to get back on track, is the 3 mindset shifts that you should have, 3 mindset changes, is that you should be able to develop the ability to not feel stupid. Don't worry about it. Everyone feels stupid. Everyone feels self-conscious. Number 2, not afraid of being wrong, right? We are all wrong. We are mostly wrong, particularly if we're inexperienced, and even more so when we start getting experience, we get even more wrong, right? And it's the ability to just accept we're wrong and just pivot exactly like Sam Walton does. And also number 3, the ability to be thick-skinned. If you're feeling kind of, a bit fragile at the moment, something happens, it puts you off course. Do not worry, understand like the more of those things that happen is nature of being in business, and the more of those things happen, the thicker your skin will get, and you just understand that it's making you more of a tolerant and thicker skinned, resilient person. And that's really good. That's really good, because when things, inevitably don't go right further down the line, at some point, you will be able to then jump straight back on the horse and carry on exactly like Grant Cardone did. Now, I hope this is really helpful for you guys. Leave me a comment underneath if you're finding value in these types of videos. Let me know. I always make my content around the things and the feedback I get from videos. So leave me a comment underneath, give me a like, and subscribe to the channel if only you found this genuinely interesting. And I hope to see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day.